If you're used to Atlas stones and you've never done a sandbag stone, there are some differences. We're going to go over those today. This issue came up in training recently. I had a gentleman over, he wanted to try out the sandbag. He's really good at the Atlas stones, and so that's all he has at his facility. We watched him do the bag, and if it was an Atlas stone, the technique was spot on. However, we did come across a few things. One was with the stone, he rode it into his lap very well, acquired it, put his hands in the 10 and 2 position on the top, thrust his hips forward and his head back, pull it up like that. What happened was, though, when he did that with the sandbag, he got it into his lap and all the sand shifted south. He couldn't get a good purchase in the 10 and 2 position. So that's one thing you probably don't want to do with the sandbag. Dependent upon how much sand is packed into these bags, you might be able to get away with the Atlas stone style technique. However, the bags, the material, it does stretch. The bag may be a little bit more loose. So this is what happened. So he picked up the bag, he rolls it into his lap. And see how everything shifts down like that? There's two ways to acquire the bag, or at least these sandstone bags. The first way, ideally, and it saves a lot of time this way, is to go down, just acquire the bag, and then pop it up into your arms and do a full extension. I'll go ahead and I'll show you what I mean. Get ready, get set, go down. You just grab the bag, do an extension. If you do not have that skill set of just gripping and ripping, what you should do is be a little bit more methodical. The hands, and I would say a good portion of the wrist is under the bag. Weight is distributed more towards your wrist than your fingertips versus the first way. But this actually provides a really good solid pickup from the floor. You feel it mostly right about through here. One of the mistakes that we see often, though, is with these bags is people lift the bag up and they'll rest it on their lap and everything shifts down and forward and throws the movement off completely. Be dynamic with it. Acquiring the bag, squeezing it. By squeezing the bag, it'll prevent the sand from, or I should say, it'll minimize the amount of sand shifting by squeezing it hard and doing a full extension versus resting it in the lap. And I'll show you the two different ways. So if you put it in your lap, like so, like an Atlas stone, see how I'm trying to acquire the bag, and as I'm trying to acquire the bag, all that sand is like shifting down and forward, and it's like very difficult to do a full extension with. If you can acquire the bag, bring it up mid or even up towards the top of your torso and squeeze and do a full extension, you can get a little bit higher and it's more efficient. Kind of come up like so. You just bypass the lap altogether.